Are you ready to ride the Are you ready to ride the frequency? To ride the frequency?
Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Ride in the Frequency, broadcasting live on Bigfoot Outlaw. Hello there, Lady LIANE. How you doing today?
Broadway hand. Happy. How you doing?
Doing good. So how was your weekend?
Very full. Full of fun and fabulosity and freaky deaky.
Well, that's awesome. Hello.
The usual. Hello. The freaky deaky.
Yes. Well, welcome to another edition, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. So what are we going to do today?
Well, first, like he said, thank you so much for tuning in. I just want to acknowledge everybody out there who's taken the time to sit down and listen for a little minute and pipe in a little bit. So today we have a full topic list. I said last week that I wanted to talk about self-soothing. So let's get the serious stuff out of the way. I mean, it's not really serious, but you know, the things about which I have been pondering when it comes to self-soothing, and of course when it goes back to breath. So
yes,
hope y'all are down with that. Why don't we, speaking of breath, not hold them? That's going to be a running gag forever. But
I'm still getting made fun of because of you.
You know what? Enjoy the attention. That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, any intentions, you know, some. Hey,
right. So maybe it's just say thanks, Lady LIANE, for getting me all that attention with your screwy sense of humor.
Yeah, right. Hello, Trista. Welcome to the show. Yeah, unbelievable. I about fell out when you said it. I was like, did she just? I'm like, oh my God.
No, because I said, did he just? Like who? I said, did he just first to get really kindergarten about it?
I know, right? Stone Hobbit's already blown you kisses.
Yes. At you too, my lovely lady.
Okay. He did. I got. All right, so there's two kisses. I guess one for you and one for me, right? Watch you turn and be like, hell no, Grizzly, you don't get no kiss. Well,
I share. We'll talk about there's room for everybody later when I talk about my friend Kathy Cousins and her Detroit Centrics project. That's for later. So why don't we all start by just, putting both our feet on the ground, maybe, and putting our hands just kind of on our thighs, maybe, and just close our eyes, maybe. And let's take a deep breath in through our noses and hold it and exhale and relax. Let's do that 2 more times and get a little deeper with each one. Okay, ready? To inhale for 4. Hold it. Exhale. Relax. 1 more. And exhale and relax. So it's to be hoped everybody feels a little more comfy in their vessels.
Absolutely.
Well, so, self-soothing. Personally, I've gone from, and there are different ways, like everything from being in a creative modality when you're creating artwork or music, or when you're writing or even writing code, It's not just artists or dancers who are
Right.
chanting and creating and making things beautiful, So there are self-soothing modalities that become kind of addictive. That would be drugs, addiction to sex, porn. A lot of people go to these things to feel better, like in that moment, and get that little shot of something that makes them feel alive, but then it's kind of fleeting, So, like, and I think we can live for a certain amount of time without water or without food, but guess what? Snuffs us out, no pun intended, pretty damn quick, is if you're not breathing, you're gone. It's not days, it's moments. Okay. So, with that being said, and I was thinking about that today, and I thought to myself, really my body is like this conduit for my awareness and my consciousness to be able to experience and express itself, whether it's art, whether it's talks, whether it's just sitting in silence and soaking in nothing, quite literally, but the whole time we breathe. And I've had times in my life where I was absolutely not conscious of breath work, for a good long time. I wasn't. I mean, I knew that taking deep breaths like helped you stop crying, but I'd never associated it to something that could be a self-soothing modality, which also, friends, like divinity, the first breath and the last breath. It's what we do before we enter the vessel and as we leave the vessel. So to me, the breath is a direct connection to divinity. And if we're breathing in a shallow fashion, shallow breathing leads to shallow behavior, I feel like, and I can remember moments when I wasn't breathing and I was being very incoherent incoherent, unconscious, because I was not focused on things other than what was coming at me from the outside, and I was raised by a woman, and it's not her fault. And the biofeedback from society, like that, the concept that, life is hard and things happen to you in life. They happen to you, they happen at you. And what happens in a day is what'll dictate your fate, and that's just so backwards to me now. Like, it didn't make sense to me then, but I just, when you're 7 years old, you don't question this stuff. You just trust your adults.
Right. No, you don't.
Right. So it's being able to come through all of that and find a place where you can take deep breaths and allow a deep connection to divinity. It's our connection, whether we want it to be or not. It is, I feel like, and we in our bodies have like 50 trillion cells. And if cells are receptors and the environment is transmitting messages to all these cells, whether it's mostly your mental environment, but also your physical environment, what are you choosing to make impressions upon you? Like, what are you eating? Who are you hanging out with? What are they yapping about? And is it coherent? Is it program talking? Is it like being able to discern? But then when the vibe doesn't feel right and you feel yourself getting frustrated with people, what do? For me lately, it's the ability to disentangle and or find compassion for being run by a program, not feel puffy, because that's serving ego, and my ego is a tool. We talked about that a little bit. I feel like my ego is a tool, and you can have an ego death, but there's an unhealthy killing of the ego, like, because it's a tool. You can't kill it completely. You just have to be in right relationship with who you are so that you are able to use your ego, as opposed to the opposite being true, which is most of society. tagged right into their ego and what do they want, and I'm hungry and I really want sugar, and God, wouldn't it be nice to get laid and pop off, or whatever it is, that's, again, like, I want to feel alive, but it's fleeting. But your breath work makes you know you're alive. It connects you to something greater than yourself. It's where you can be in the nothing and find everything. So I just really wanted to bring attention to deep breathing and having that be your direct connection to life's source, and paying attention to what sustains us is also a way of self-soothing, and then honoring that and being really viscerally involved with it. Who has time to be anxious when you're grateful for your breath? And I know that sounds really wacky and corny and maybe woo woo. And, how does that solve my paying my bills? Well, it doesn't solve the bill paying, but it solves who you are while you're in the stress, or making the choice not to be entangled with stress and just looking at the situation and allowing it to be there and doing something about it that's coherent when the timing is right. And you'll know when the timing is right if you're an awareness in the moment, not some ego freaking out about, and then telling stories why, because the world, it's the economy, my mother told me money's dirty, like whatever nonsense, that needs to really go away, because that doesn't sustain anything but fear. Divinity sustains via breath. Being aware of that is a really good idea, So little by little, hopefully these things that I say, I know they help me stay in my moment and stay in my now. And I, like in the privacy of my own mind, what's blocking me, letting that go, releasing things. When you sigh, you guys ever take a big deep sigh?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Realize, like, how do you feel after that? Like, it's a release, but are you paying attention to what's triggering the need for a release? Is it subconscious programming? Are you going unconscious and then telling stories why whatever? Because then at what point is that just, it's kind of silly. It really is, I think. So, and that comes back to, who are you identifying with, your ego or with the divinity that you actually are? Those 50 trillion cells are fractals of source. Every breath feeds those.
Mark's asking you, so Leanne, is this a connection with our environment leaning toward being on an empath, but on a broader scope?
That's a really beautiful way of wording it. I love that vocabulary. Being in connection with our environment, nature, and being hyper aware, consciously making the choice to be hyper aware to the very subtle energies, and sometimes loud ones. Yeah. You become more empathic as you let go of all of the societal rules that tell you you're not good enough or whatever, Yeah. So yeah, I would say a resounding yes. I think some people are more resilient to not buying into programming. For a long time, I felt guilty or embarrassed. My mom's so smart. She graduated high school when she was 15 and a half. And that's all ego going, blah, 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 blah. You're not good enough, blah, 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 blah. You're smart, blah, 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 blah. You have no education, blah, 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 blah. Like, just blah, 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 blah. Bye. Go away. You go away now, bad man. Really, it's like, what are you allowing to, and then how do you feel? And then, no, the idea that I quit high school and don't have a formal education, I think has allowed me, excuse me, to have a more open mind than most people that are locked into some formal thinking and then try to make sense of some what we call paranormal activity because they're trying to fit it into a box that's familiar. Like, why would you do that? So that you can identify with your ego some more and explain it to yourself. Like some things, maybe you don't need an explanation and you just need to know that it is. The isness of things is enough. Your isness is enough. You wouldn't be here if it wasn't. So why is everybody tripping about how old I look, how young I look, how many toys I have, what kind of car? Or like, oh, I need the iPhone 16 because it's gonna, hook me up to my Neuralink. Oh, Elon, stick up in my head. Like, no, we're not, whatever it is that they're telling you you're supposed to, I'm supposed to focus on my breath and remember who I am so that I can navigate that crazy messaging that keeps telling us to be scared and feel inferior and buy products to feel better. Like, right? Like what? Just shh.
Society's teaching us though.
That's it. But also to be aware of it, know it's there, hear what it's saying, process it, and know that it's fucking bullshit. Pardon the French, but that was an appropriate conscious choice to use those words, not some weird verbal pause because I have no other vocabulary. I agree, Missy. Yes, there are so many different ways. There's no one way, but that way, yes, that there's an isness in that, of course. Same thing, so many different ways. When you ohm, it's the same thing. Ohm isn't one syllable. It's not ohm. It's aum. Okay, that's much different, right? Aum. Of all strange things, I was at my kitchen sink, and I kind of sing song to myself and just say silly things and talk to my birds and, whatever it is. But I found myself going rum, yum, num, hum, lum, like, and, just sing songy, silly stuff. And then I realized, oh, wait, what are you doing? That actually, you actually are doing something right now. Vibrational energy and sound is huge. Yeah. If anybody has listened to JJ and Desiree Hurtak speak, doctors JJ and Desiree, those guys, it's to be hoped one day they grace me with their presence because they're an interesting two-headed being who both, it's amazing how they both speak and are so interwoven and so entangled on the one hand, and they're both so individual on the other hand. They're a beautiful thing to watch and to take in how they communicate to others, with each other, through each other, having the information come through. It's really pretty cool. They're in the pocket, as we would say in music.
Right.
So like, I guess that's it. Like if there's anything upon which I would encourage everybody to reflect, I think it would be, again, always breath, like the divinity that we are before we're physical. Our physicality is a conduit for our divinity. It's not the other way around. We're not just some thing that has a spirit and we're here and then we croak. Like we're eternal. Our energy's eternal. Sometimes I feel like iterating on earth in human being, and getting to the place where you can remember who you are earlier and earlier with each iteration. And then at some point, maybe it's a different frequency in a different dimension where you become somebody's guide who's on earth. Maybe you don't have a body anymore, but you're definitely right next to somebody from the time they take the first breath and the time they exhale, like a guardian angel, because you've learned the earthly lessons, which only allows you to expand even more in the ethers. It's a nice idea, I thought.
It's a beautiful thought. Energy
Yeah.
cannot be created or destroyed, right?
Right, exactly. And I think becoming the creator of your story, as opposed to being the victim of what happens to you day in and day out, and not understanding that you've created that and that it's giving you an opportunity to grow and expand. It might not feel great, but how do you know what feels great if you haven't walked through the muck? We live in a dualistic place, and each side of the pendulum swings to inform so that the other side makes sense, and the whole thing is beautiful. So when we look at it as a whole thing instead of one or the other to separate, we're not separate. We're interlinked. Methinks.
Yeah. Joey's asking about your pictures on the wall. There we go again.
No. Well, yes, that's my artwork. This is my artwork. I can share the images, I think, because I think I'm able to present.
Yes.
Thank you, Stone. You too, dude. Clearly. I mean, there are lots of us here. Thanks, Joey.
Yes, Mark, and they are for sale, ladies and gentlemen.
They are. They're $25 a print. And okay, so here it is. Like, I completely forgot. I pulled out my menu. And this is good for me, not so good for you. Autographs were $40. Selfies were $30. The combination was $60. So I think for the purposes of sales on the website, that's a little, I'll need to figure out like what to do and how to work that out. But I sold a $15 CD with a $40 autograph and gave a $5 discount. I sold two $50 CDs.
See?
So grateful. It was so cool. It was so cool. And somebody walked up and like didn't even want my autograph because the movies I was in, they were looking at the artwork. They were the trippiest couple too. Trippy. But they had great vibes. Great vibes. So that was good. So yeah, so it's $25 for a high resolution print. I have to figure out what postage would be. Hi, Ravenna. Oh, hi. Hi, honey. I love you. That's my friend. That's my sister from another mister. I've known her since she's 6 years old. Oh, I used to call her Diaper Pants. It's a good thing your real name. Well, I said your real name. Oh, well. What's up, DP? We're all going to be Diaper Pants in another 40 years if we're lucky enough to make it that long.
Yeah, so go to LianeCurtis.com, send her an email, and she'll give you a menu. And, I mean, you do like you do mix and match, right?
I do mix and match. I do mix and mix. See, the issue for me right now is like I don't need to give Wix like $40 for one website and I'm trying to figure out how to get but maybe it's just not possible. Finish a sentence, finish a thought, take a breath. Practice what you preach, girl. What I need to do is work on the Liane Curtis website and decide whether it needs its own store, which would mean $20 more a month to Wix. Right now, I have an active store on the record label site, which allows people to buy the music, but I think it doesn't work for me to put the art on the record label. So I promise you can always DM me on Instagram or Facebook if you're really burningly in need of Liane Curtis 8 DLC artwork. I'm really, really happy to take your money. and send you something in exchange. Not a problem.
All of our links are down in the description, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to click
literally, you guys know where I am. So it's up to you. Come find me. Or buy music. Or, you know what really helps out there in virtual land? Please follow me on Spotify. They did something really whack. They decided the aliens are here because it, right? It's a fun song. So what does that get aggregated by AI, not a human, into children's music? So the Lady LIANE radio on Spotify, we go from creators to scrub-a-dub-dub, my butt's in the tub. That's not what we're doing. That can't. I don't know. So I'm trying to deal with AI, and I'm trying to deal with humans to see if they can override that algorithm, because it's bugging me. So if you guys can follow me on Spotify, Lady LIANE, that would be amazeballs. Not technically a curse. Although it definitely promotes visuals that might not be the most conventional. In any event, please follow me on Spotify. Lunatics is coming out this Thursday, Halloween.
Awesome. I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
I know we talked about last week.
Yeah, Lunatics is coming out this week. And I actually want to figure out how to do a music video for that one, which will probably include a lot of green screen, because I don't know how those lyrics would work out there in 3D. I don't know. Except, for the line where I say 3D is vexing me. Maybe it'll just have like a big 3D with a circle and a ban it. We will ban 3D and remove the moon now. Bye. It's weird though, because George Kavassilis on, his website and his YouTubes keeps talking about how the moon could possibly be removed and put back in Mars's orbit, as like that was some kind of thing. I'm very curious about that. Like, we'll see. So yeah, so new music coming out Thursday, CDs for sale for $15. Artwork for sale, $25 per print and $6 per magnet, 2 for $10.
Awesome.
Plus shipping. So yeah, I think that's it. My car decided to do weird things yesterday on the way to Chiller. So I don't know if any of you guys have seen Girlfriend from Hell. There's a driving scene in there where she's just nuts, and she's like, and everybody in the car is just like, ugh. And then she starts laughing and whatever. So like, my muffler's doing weird stuff. It was making strange noises. It got me to and from Jersey twice, 72 miles round trip. And I pull out yesterday and the muffler thing lights up, and then it stops. And I'm like, okay. Then I'm thinking, it's making a little funny noise. Maybe I should stop at that gas station. And then I chose not to. And I got on the parkway or the highway or whatever you call it here in New York, freeway, highway, thoroughfare with lots of vehicles. Anyway, so I'm on there, and it's like definitely not making the right noises. It's accelerating. The engine's fine, but there's something else. And then I hear, and I'm going, Flip Wilson, I think there's metal dragging. That's definitely not cool. So I got off to go on the George Washington Bridge, and then veered onto 178th Street and got to Broadway and made a left turn, and I drove north for a little while until I thought, oh, look, there's a bus stop. Let me just pull over and see what's up. And here we are. There's the front of the car. Here's the back of the car. And there's my muffler, like that. And I think to myself, well, poopy, poop, poop. And mind you, like 5 years ago, I would have had a massive anxiety attack, called my husband, freaking the out, having all kinds of crazy thoughts about what's wrong with the car, and sparks lighting up and lighting my engine on fire. Like, it's crazy, unnecessary, unless you're addicted to feeling. So there's the personal growth. Is I was laughing, I felt confident, I knew that I was having very empathic feelings, like envisioning me stopped on the freeway with tow trucks, or worse, on the bridge. And I thought, if these flashes are coming at you, you just could listen, pull over, listen to these feelings, go to, right? So the guys in the barbershop look at me and they're like, tu muffler, tu muffler. I'm like, yeah, yo sabe, muchas gracias. And then I see one of them pick up the phone and they say, es un reparanda, and they're pointing. And they're like, yo llama. So they're calling. And I'm going, thank you so much. And then they're like, we're going to help you. And I'm just like having a blast talking to strangers because it's my thing. And they're helping and I'm laughing. And I look to where they're pointing. Like, this is great. It's my mechanic. I stopped to pull over like a block away from my mechanic. So
wow.
I looked at these guys and I said, yo pienso que es no bueno idea. Like, I speak fluent French, so this is how I get away with the Spanish stuff. Yo pienso es un bueno idea que yo drive. So I flipped a U-turn on Broadway in reverse from the park lane. And I thought, wow, channeling my inner Maggie. The only thing, there was no nuns to run over and no AK-47s under their habits to come shooting at me. But yeah, I backed up Broadway. I pulled a U-turn backwards, backed up Broadway, backed into the garage, who were open. And the guy who runs it, it's Broadway Automotive, for anybody who's, 4519 Broadway up there in Inwood. They're fabulous. They do my inspections every year. The owner is Israeli. He happens to be a neighbor. He's the most fantastic, beautiful human being. And the crew there is awesome. Not too expensive. They're not the cheapest. However, they do really, really good work. I trust them. And how does Leanne's car break down right by them? I was like, what?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Exactly. So I'm just like, most people would be flipping out right now. They're late. And I'm just like, la, la, la. This is so much fun. Breaking down in the right place. So I call Lyft and it tells me $118. But if you want to save and wait, you can do that to save $3. And so, of course, I'm going save the $3. Save and wait. And then I looked at it again. I was like, what are you doing for $3? So I went to push the thing, but it got stuck. And then I looked to see what my driver was. And then it tells me, even with the save and wait option, this dude rolls up in a 2025 Mercedes G-Class SUV with tinted windows. So not only do I not get some, cheap beater, it's this guy with his brand new 2025 car. Mind you, I took Lyft, and the pretty Lyft colors. The car has the pretty Lyft colors along the little wooden thing and the little Lyft, the pretty pink. It's such a cool car. What? Not really. Anyway, so that was fun. So I rolled up. I was a star in a car. And I had a great day. And I shared another Lyft back with my friend who was also there signing. His name is Paris Themin. He was in a movie. Yeah, no kidding. I've driven Lyft. I already know. I already know all about driving for Lyft, and it's worse in New York. But so Paris and I split a Lyft back, which cost me $70. And a lovely gentleman named Zhang from the southeastern province somewhere in China was here in his Tesla. Did Paris tell me it was a Y model? It was the smaller SUV-ish Tesla car. So quiet.
Wow.
So what a cool ride, man. And even that Mercedes, when he was like changing the radio, he's staring across, and the thing to change it is flat under your fingers. It's not, you don't touch the screen. It's there, so you don't have to reach forward. Cars are, they'll be able to change my diapers and your diapers, right, Ravenna?
Oh yeah.
In 40 years. Like, who needs a caregiver? That'll be great. My Tesla can just do it for me while it's scanning my breastises for lumps. Like, come on, man.
You would have to throw that in, wouldn't you, mate?
Just once, mate. Yip. Yip, as my stone hobbit would say. Yeah, so that was fun. So it's good to see old friends. I saw John Cusack, and I saw Corey Feldman, and I went and I spoke with Molly Ringwald, and I hung out with Tommy Chong. I think that was my favorite part. He's so gentle and so sweet. He's so beautiful. I love Tommy Chong. I'm acquaintances with his older daughter, Robbie, because she takes care of a mutual friend who's not well. But I just loved meeting him. And what's even funnier is that the first time I went to the dispensary back in July, I got a Cheech and Chong brand pre-roll. And this would be, of course, dun, 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 at Flower Power at 22 West 66th Street on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. The most fabulous recreational dispensary on the Upper West Side. And my go-to for gummies, for flower. I don't vape, but they have a fabulous selection, and the owners and the staff are fabulous and good. I said fabulous too much. Very friendly. There's another F word that I can say. All right. So the pre-roll, it's called a drooler. And I avoided smoking it because I'm an indica girl. It said sativa. So I was just kind of like, should we give it back? No, but I've actually been enjoying it little by little by little by little. It lasts me a really long time. And so I showed him. I was like, guess what? Look what I have. So I gave him 3 magnets and I gave him a CD. Tommy Chong gets free stuff because he's Tommy Chong. Like, I don't know. And I guess that brings up something like celebrities versus Eric Hecker, plumbers. Like, we're not any special. Like, we do get special treatment. And I don't know if it's because we're on a screen and it's like, oh, like that, or whether it's because we bring joy and we allow people to feel vicariously through the stories we tell for the writers who are pulling stories through, but I'll take it. I'm happy. It was nice. It's good.
That's pretty awesome.
But we're all same, we're all equal in awareness and consciousness. It's just what we have chosen to do or with our vessels to get the information through. I don't know. No, I do know. I have to stop saying I don't know. I do know. I'm glad. For anybody I've helped or the roles I've played, I've helped. Happy to help. I like helping. And I like talking to strangers. All right. So that's Chiller Theater every November and April at Parsippany Hilton in New Jersey. Maybe I'll go in April again. I don't know. It was good.
Cool.
Yeah. I didn't catch anything either. I feel really healthy today. That's even better.
Amazing.
Yeah, because it was like, concentrated amounts of people, lines. And I was in a smaller room, which is good. I was not in the ballroom. My friend Kevin, I asked him, please, like, it's literally a health thing. Like I don't need to go on vocal rest for a week because I had to shout over the din in the ballroom. That's just, So yeah, that was good. I'm really grateful. I had such a good time. I really had such a good time.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, what about this wall that I got a picture of?
Oh, what, that back there?
This one.
Oh, when I was walking to the mechanic to pick up my car. Thanks for cueing me subtly. Okay. So I'm walking through all the neighborhoods, and as you go further north, it gets less bougie. You go through Columbia University, and then, you end up in Washington Heights and then in Inwood. So as I approached, I want to say like 150th Street, somewhere around there, I'll look it up. I see this wall with lots of print. So of course I had to stop. And the words are really kind of jammed together. So it was hard for me to see what it said. But I knew I wanted to take a picture because it was just so cool. And then when I read it, I decided that I really needed to walk into the store, which happens to be a big space with a coffee area and pastries. And then there are tacos on the other side. And there's a bar that wasn't open in the middle. But anyway, and I think the name on it was BUNNI. But what that sign says is, I want to be as human as possible, to not hide, run, destroy, or prove anything, but to see and be seen.
That's amazing.
Like, I thought, what a beautiful thing to have there for people who choose to stop and look, and then further who choose to stop, look, read, and allow themselves to sit with that idea. And so it prompted me to walk into that place and thank them for having literally a wall of coherence there for people who might not otherwise, because of things I don't really want to get into today because it's just a bummer. But people who would not otherwise be able to access a message like that. We're talking about neighborhoods that are not very affluent, which means people who don't have access to higher forms of education, even with the issues I have with that. Part of a higher education is hygiene, knowing how to eat, knowing what to eat, knowing that they're poisoning you with all the preservatives and processed foods and McDonald's. No. And, they don't know any better because they weren't taught, and it's generational. And we all have to break the generational patterns. And one of them is being informed, even though you're not necessarily a millionaire, or speak the language or whatever. And there are just certain things that human beings should all be allowed to know. Eat good raw food. Even Jesus said, when he was asked, what do you eat the good raw food. You don't eat dead stuff, because then you become dead. You are what you eat. They say it for a reason. In any event, that neighborhood having that beautiful blossoming flower of a message, which allows people who bother to read it to take it in, sit with it, and maybe make different choices based on a different way of seeing things. I'm very grateful to that business for having that message. So yeah.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah. I like noticing things like that. The other thing I noticed, which isn't as elevated, is I'm walking down, and I know this is on 139th Street and Broadway on the southeast corner. For any of you horn dogs who are addicted to sex, there's a sex shop there, which is, for adult pleasure, whatever the hell it is. And I've seen it before driving back and forth from my mechanics, and not really made any note other than, oh yeah, there's that place called the Pleasure Chest on Melrose, and I wonder whatever, and then I just, because that's not where I'm focused. Not. So not the way I choose to self-soothe. But that's okay. Everyone does what they need to do to get through a day, I guess. But on the other corner, directly across, is a pediatric doctor practice, and I'm just going, my head wants to explode. Like, so wait, they have that there just because whoever goes there are going to make lots of babies, and then that means they're going to get business because the sex shop is kitty corner to the pediatric ward. Like,
You can't
so
tell me that was
that one,
right?
yeah, I had to laugh at that one, and I made a comment on my Facebook Live about it too because it was just too much. Anyway, so yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. Not, like I said, not as elevated an observation.
Unbelievable.
Oh yeah, I love laughing at myself. Like, if you can't laugh at yourself, then really,
Right.
really, come on. All right. So speaking of music, like, I don't know if you guys are R&B or soul music fans.
All the above.
And I love, like, most I won't say most. There are a brand of artists who, because I like to promote myself and my music, and that's part of what I do here. But does that mean I can't talk about my friends? Does that mean I can't promote another band? I don't go by there's only room for me, and if I promote them, then it's taking focus off me. What? Like, I don't know.
Do what you want.
Right. That's some kind of, like, perversion of something that, like, feeds fear of there not being enough space. Well, we're not doing that here in my space. In my space, I'm happy to give my platform to the fabulous Detroit Centrics. They are participating in a competition. And because I kind of like voting for my friends, and this isn't one of those, oh my God, now I've got to vote. Now I've got to look at this every day. Oh God, now every day there's a vote. It's not like that. These are actually sophisticated, nice, not pain in the ass people. Not the band. Well, they're not pain in the ass either, but, like, so, like, there's this website you can go to. And the website, let me scroll down to my notes, is www.soultracks.com. Soultracks. SOULTRACKS.com. And Detroit Centrics is up for Best New Artist of the Year. Very, very exciting. So I would like to see them rally and maybe even win that award. Kathy Cousins has already won an award. She's half the Detroit Centric. She's already won an award. There you go. There they are.
All right. You play it?
Yes, please. Let's play Ain't No Wrong by Detroit Centrics and give you a taste of what you're voting for.
Ain't no wrong. Ain't no wrong. Seems like I have a situation. Not quite sure just where to go. There ain't no need for complication. The truth is, you already know. Just when I think we're in the moment, I flip the script and back away. Although you're not trying to make me nervous, you're just asking me to stay. Ain't no wrong or right, no matter what we do tonight. Long as you hold me tight, ain't no wrong, ain't no right. What you got to say? What you got to say? Ooh, I can feel your hesitation. I know you've been through this before, more times than you care to remember. This time you need to be sure I'm not the same as all the others, and I only want you in my sight. It's not easy to surrender. Just give it time, you'll see the light. Ain't no wrong or right, no matter what we do tonight. Long as you hold me tight, ain't no wrong, ain't no right. What you trying to say? What you trying to say? You know I had a situation. I know you've been through this before. No, I don't want no complication. Trust in me, you can be sure. Ain't no wrong or right, no matter what we do tonight. Long as you hold me tight, ain't no wrong, ain't no right. Ain't no wrong or right, no matter what we do tonight. Long as you hold me tight, ain't no wrong, ain't no right. What you trying to say? What you trying to say? You know I had a situation. I know you've been through this before. No, I don't want no complication. Trust in me, you can be sure. You can be sure.
All right. Well, that's the very talented Mr. Paul Randolph
Yes.
and Miss Kathy Cousins, who are both just phenomenal artists in their own right, separately. And together, it's just, mega, mega, mega plied, like the lottery.
Awesome.
So,
Yeah.
man, these guys are the real deal. They're Detroit based, and Kathy. Like I talk more about Kathy because I know more about Kathy. Like Paul is awesome. He plays for Mark Farner. He's done so many things, and he's got lots and lots of albums out on Spotify. So go ahead and check out Detroit Centrics. Check out Paul, and check out Kathy. Paul Randolph with a PH. And Kathy Cousins, Kosins, who also does the most beautiful artwork. I bought a piece of hers, and I love it. It's pink. It's nice. Kathy's kind of pink, and she's kind of nice too. Like Kathy. They're my friends, and maybe they know Vanilla Dick a little bit.
Oh, I knew that name was going to come up right as we end the show. I knew it was going to come up.
What would a show be without giving my hat a nod, or my head a little nod to Mr. Vanilla Dick, Dr. Dick from Detroit. He's the dude. All right. Well, one of these days we're going to experiment. Maybe not in the wintertime. Maybe when it stays light, because it's already dark out.
Yeah,
So
it's getting dark here.
Yeah, one of these days we'll experiment. Maybe in the springtime. In the springtime, we'll experiment.
That sounds like a winner. And don't forget to check out LIANECurtis.com for all of her artwork, musics, and everything. The descriptions, the links are down below, ladies and gentlemen. So
Wait, you didn't let me tell you what to about what we're going to experiment with.
Yes.
being live on StreamYard and going outside.
I hope so.
Doing like a Facebook Live video, but on StreamYard.
Yeah,
Like
that'd
where
be
I
awesome.
walk around and mess with people.
Yeah, that'd be great. I think
We have
that'd be
to do
awesome.
one of those where I go to Salt and Straw and awkwardly
that'd be
ask,
great.
okay, if I film in here because I'm actually live on my Streamcast right now. Want a little
Right.
PR?
That'd be awesome. I think
Right?
that'd be really
Somebody
cool.
chase me out. That'll be funny. Whatever happens,
Well, it would
I'll
be.
start laughing.
Oh, absolutely. That'd be awesome.
All right, you guys, keep focused on your breath, like and just allow your
Breath.
chi to run through
Breath.
your breath.
Breath.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep, seriously, and that way you can be more coherent in everything that you do and more
That is
connected
correct.
while you're doing it. Okay, you can keep talking now.
Yeah. And don't forget, we got a show coming up at 7 p.m. Eastern time, right around the corner, and coast to coast around the world. Godspeed. We'll catch you in a few minutes. Bye-bye.